The notification came without warning. Millions of TikTok users in the United States woke up to find the app wasn't loading. Service unavailable, it said. But this wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a server outage or a regional hiccup. It was the end of an era. The United States government had finally pulled the trigger. TikTok was banned. Not just from government devices, not just in schools, banned nationwide. And just like that, one of the world's most addictive platforms vanished from American screens. But why? And why now? To understand this moment, you have to go back to the roots of a quiet, escalating conflict between two superpowers, not over oil or territory, but over data, influence, and control of the world's digital narrative. On one side, the United States struggling to maintain its dominance over global internet infrastructure. On the other, China aggressively exporting its apps, platforms, and algorithmic influence into every phone it can reach. TikTok was never just a social media app. It was a geopolitical Trojan horse, and both sides knew it. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is based in Beijing. And that single fact has haunted U.S. lawmakers for years. What if the Chinese government demanded access to TikTok's data? What if the app was being used to monitor American behavior, influence public discourse, or manipulate elections? ByteDance has denied these accusations repeatedly. But with tensions rising and trust eroding, it didn't matter. In 2025, the U.S. passed the National App Integrity Act, a sweeping new law that gave the federal government the power to ban foreign-owned apps deemed a national security threat. TikTok was target number one. The implications were immediate. TikTok influencers scrambled. Brands panicked. Millions of creators lost their audiences overnight. But beyond the social media chaos, something much deeper was happening. The global internet was fracturing. For decades, the web promised connection, without borders. But now, the border was back, not drawn with fences or firewalls, but with code. The U.S. ban on TikTok signaled the start of a digital iron curtain, one side shaped by Western norms of openness and regulation, the other by China's model of control and surveillance. And in the middle were the platforms, algorithms, and users caught in the crossfire. China responded quickly. In retaliation, Chinese regulators restricted American tech companies operating within their borders even further. Apple faced sudden compliance demands. Google's cloud services were throttled. Microsoft saw its enterprise licenses under review. Meanwhile, Chinese state media condemned the TikTok ban as digital McCarthyism, a return to Cold War. Paranoia, now digitized. But in truth, this wasn't just about TikTok. This was about the future of the internet itself. TikTok wasn't banned because of its funny cat videos or dance trends. It was banned because of its algorithm. The For You page, the endless scroll of hyper-personalized content, is driven by one of the most powerful recommendation engines ever created. And that algorithm didn't come from Silicon Valley. It came from Beijing. It's trained on vast amounts of behavioral data, using patterns so subtle and predictive they can influence what you see, what you believe, and even how you feel, all without you realizing it. That kind of power, in the hands of a foreign rival, terrified American lawmakers and intelligence agencies alike. Project Texas was supposed to fix this. A proposed deal where TikTok's U.S. data would be stored on American soil, managed by an American company, overseen by U.S. officials. But trust is a fragile thing, and after years of negotiations, leaks, and political posturing, it collapsed. In its place came executive orders, lawsuits, and finally, the ban. Overnight, TikTok joined the list of platforms the U.S. government labeled as tools of foreign influence, alongside Huawei, WeChat, and others. But here's the twist. The US ban didn't destroy TikTok. It multiplied its influence elsewhere. In Europe, in Latin America, and Southeast Asia, TikTok's growth only accelerated. Millions of users outside the US saw the ban not as protection, but as paranoia. They kept scrolling. They kept uploading. The app evolved. It adapted. And it became something more than just Chinese. It became global. At the same time, US platforms began facing pressure of their own. If the US could ban foreign apps, what stopped India from banning American ones? What if Brazil restricted Meta? What if Nigeria demanded algorithmic control over YouTube recommendations? The ban had set a precedent, one that broke the myth of a borderless internet forever. We now live in a world of digital sovereignty, where governments expect to control what flows in and out of their networks. And that means the internet, once a single shared space, is slowly becoming a series of walled gardens. This fragmentation has a name, the Splinternet, and the TikTok ban may be the most high-profile symptom of this shift. The Splinternet isn't a theory anymore. It's our new reality. In China, you have WeChat, Douyin, Baidu. In the West, Instagram, YouTube, Google. In Russia, VK and Yandex. Each ecosystem increasingly isolated, increasingly nationalized, increasingly politicized. And that separation is accelerating. But there's another layer to this war. And it's invisible. Data. Every app you use collects it. Every swipe, pause, like, and comment. TikTok collected massive amounts of data. And because of its foreign ownership, that data became a national security concern. But the truth is, all social platforms do it. The only difference is who owns the company and who can demand access in a moment of crisis. The fear isn't just that data might be used. It's that it might be weaponized for influence campaigns, blackmail, algorithmic censorship, or psychological manipulation. And the algorithm itself, that's the new nuclear code. Unlike traditional weapons, AI-powered algorithms can shape public opinion in real time. They can elevate some voices, silence others. They can boost content that creates anger, confusion, or fear. And they can do it quietly, invisibly, at scale. That's why control over algorithms, not just access to data, is the real battlefield. And TikTok was the first shot fired. Meanwhile, creators and users are left with whiplash. In the span of a few years, TikTok went from a goofy teen app to a geopolitical flashpoint. Creators who build careers on the platform now migrate to YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or the next rising star. But the trust is broken. May wonder, what if this happens again? What if every new platform becomes a pawn in a bigger war? Tech companies are also recalibrating. No one wants to be the next TikTok. Startups are being advised to avoid foreign capital. App developers are thinking twice about storing data overseas. Investors are scanning cap tables for any link to adversarial nations. What used to be just due diligence is now national defense. The global app war is no longer hypothetical. It's here, it's real, and it's expanding. The question is no longer, will an app be banned? It's, which one is next? Could a future US administration ban WeChat Pay? Could the EU block Meta for antitrust or misinformation? Could India ban Netflix for violating digital decency laws? In a fractured internet, anything is possible. And everything is political. As for China, the TikTok saga serves as both a warning and a blueprint. They've already hardened their platforms against foreign influence. They know what digital decoupling looks like because they engineered it. And now they're exporting that model, surveillance, control, algorithmic governance, to willing governments around the world. The fear is that in trying to protect ourselves from foreign platforms, we may end up mimicking them. The TikTok ban was never just about one app. It was a mirror, a reflection of a world where digital power is as potent as military strength, where the fight isn't over land but over feeds, not over territory but over timelines. It's the new arms race, fought with code, governed by algorithms, and watched through the lens of national interest. This is the future of the internet. Not open, not free, but fragmented, controlled, contested. The TikTok ban didn't just delete an app. It redrew the map of the digital world. And it's only the beginning.